Hi, and welcome to another episode of Connect with VP Hecht, your guide to all things student life at Florida State University. Today, I have two special guests with me, Julenny Rodriguez, Assistant Director of Fraternity and Sorority Life, also known as Juju, as well as Abigail Rios, the former president of the Alpha Sigma chapter of Kappa Delta Chi Sorority Incorporated. And today we're going to talk about MGC. So Abigail, what is MGC and what does it stand for?
So MGC is the Multicultural Greek Council here at Florida State. It has a lot of sororities and fraternities from different backgrounds, some Hispanic-based, some Asian-based, or multicultural-based, and we all come together, have our philanthropies, and just do service on campus.
So Abigail, how many MGC chapters are there at Florida State?
So there's 8 chapters in our Multicultural Greek Council. We have 4 fraternities and 4 sororities.
What makes MGC special?
MGC is like a little melting pot, I would say. Our motto is unity through diversity, and I really think that just encompasses what MGC is. We all come from different backgrounds, but we come together to do service events and just hang out. I think something special about MGC is that we are a small council, but we all get to know each other really, really well. So it's really easy to make connections and find friends from all over.
So when you joined your sorority, how did you go about doing that? What's the process look like for those listening?
So coming to FSU, I knew Greek life was a big thing. My father actually came to the school. So I was kind of decided if that was something I wanted to get involved in. And I took the fall to just get adjusted. And then during that fall semester, I was reached out to a member of my sorority, and she said, come to an informational. So I went ahead and I went to the informational, and I really liked the girls, so I decided to rush in the spring. So rush looks different for each organization in our council. It's on an individual basis, so the organization really gets to choose when they want to do intake or not. So my advice to individuals looking to join would be to go to all the events, like MGC events. We do an MGC week at the beginning of each semester, so all the organizations will be there so you can meet all of them. We also are always tabling at Market Wednesday, and you could see organizations Stroll or Step. So that's a really great way to see the organizations firsthand on campus. And I would also say don't be afraid to reach out, because all of us have Instagram, our DMs are open. Just send a message and someone will get back to you on how you can join their chapter.
So you mentioned saluting, stepping, strolling, something MGC organizations do that those who aren't members can watch and observe. So what is stepping, strolling, but saluting is a new one I have not heard. So let's start with saluting.
Not all MGC organizations do stroll, not all MGC organizations step. Some of them do decide not to do them at all, or they can do something called saluting, which we'll see. Someone that we see a lot from is our Lambda Theta Phi Latin Fraternity Incorporated, where they only do saluting. And it's kind of a performance through like a verbal expression, where they're doing almost what it sounds like a poem, where it's like an honor to their organization, to their brothers, who they are, and it's just showcasing, maybe they're talking all in synchronization, they're doing synchronized moves, or they're speaking individually. But it's almost like a powerful piece of who they are and how they honor themselves through that performance.
And is that performance always the same words, or does it change?
Usually they'll have like a signature one for their chapter or a signature one for as a national piece, but they can create new ones for special performances or for any special like celebration that they would like to do.
And stepping and strolling, tell us about that.
Stepping is really just an opportunity for those that are performing to make sounds through their clapping, stomping, just making a music and sound with their bodies. We see many of that in our NPHC culture, but because I would like to say that NPHC kind of helped open the doors for many of our MGC organizations. Many of our MGC organizations kind of brought that in within their culture as well as organizations and do step. So you'll hear that similarity, but you still have those pieces that make it special for those MGC organizations. And strolling, same thing, similar to our MPHC organizations, but it's really just a synchronized movements in a line that's used with music. It might look like dancing, but many of our organizations just call it kind of that stroll.
And you can see this Market Wednesdays outside the Union. So folks should check it out.
Absolutely.
So what do MGC chapters look for in members?
I say we look for leaders who want to get involved on campus. In multiple spaces, we have members who are orientation leaders, who are in HLSU, ASU, past directors, also just like honors leaders, all of that. So just people who are really looking to get involved. Community service is a big thing we all do. We each individually have our own philanthropies, but we come together as a whole. We do a lot of like trash cleanups around campus or help at the Kearney Center, which is a homeless shelter in Tallahassee. So someone who's looking to give back to their community.
Now you went through recruitment, Rush, as a second semester freshman. Is that typical? Were you early in your career? When do people typically join MGC?
Really, I feel like people join at all stages. I've had people who joined when they were a senior, but I also know people who joined as freshmen like me. So I would say it's never too late to join or too early, really. I would just get your face out there, go to events, go to the events that the organizations put on, because I know throughout the year we all put on like cultural events, educational events, and they'll definitely notice that you're there. And as a senior joining, I don't think you're really missing out on too much, because you'll get that last semester or last year, and all of our organizations have pretty strong alumni bases and do like alumni tailgates and stuff like that. So there's definitely a community for you like wherever you go after you join.
So for those watching who are interested, is it very expensive to join? And what do they need to know about the financial commitment?
I would say the financial commitment it depends on each organization again, but I would say we are on like the more non-expensive side. Like organizations' dues I think range from like $100 to $1,000 depending on the org. So you can always like just talk to your treasurer or whoever's dealing with the financials, and they'll help you work it out.
Okay. So it's something they'll learn about through recruitment, learn how expensive it is, and then figure out how they can work it into their budget to join. Very good. So what is some advice that you would give our listeners or watchers who want to join an MGC group? What should they do first? What should they talk about, not talk about? Where, not where? What should they do academically or with their orgs? What would you give them, the best advice you've got?
My best advice to be to research. Research all the organizations within our council, because they're all very different on their own, and they all have like nationals that are different and are part of like different national organizations too. So I would say to do research, look at the Instagrams, go to the events, and just don't be afraid to put yourself out there, because I feel like too when we table at market, sometimes people don't want to come up, but don't be afraid to go up. They're so nice. Everyone in the council is nice, and they'll love to talk to you.
I think MGC has something special of like feeling like a family, and it's this space that they want others, whether they're affiliated or non-affiliated, to feel that family like aurora in a sense.
Yeah.
Because if you go to a town hall that they have, or even just a simple event, whether it's an individual chapter event or an MGC event in its entirety, you're going to feel that family. You're going to feel that sense of like, oh, they actually like each other.
So it's very welcome.
Yes, very, very welcome. And so definitely go out to each of the tables, come out to MGC events, because that's really the opportunity to get to know a little bit more about MGC, because they are one of our younger councils here at FSU, and in most of the nation as well, because on a national level, many of our organizations are also the youngest on a national or international headquarters space. So with that, they're still growing, they're expanding, they're making an impact. And even though they might be a small council, and maybe not as well known as I believe they should be, because small as they may be, they're very mighty, and they make one of the biggest impact in the community. There are individuals that are special, there are leaders that are taking involvements around all of campus. They're here because they care about the community. They care about making sure that they're making that impact, creating that change, not just make the community better, but also make themselves and who they are better in this world.
Now, Abigail, you were chapter president, so big job. I was chapter president, and I can tell you, hardest job, because these are not just the people you're trying to lead, but they're your friends, they're your social network. So tell me, finish this sentence. MGC has taught me.
I would say how to lead, how to be organized, and how to separate business from friendships.
Yeah.
I think that's something really hard to do, is setting professionalism from like fun, because obviously like we're sisters, I love my sisters, but at the end of the day we are an organization, so there's work that we have to do, whether it be like planning events, doing something service, having like a certain attendance at another event. So it can be a lot to manage sometimes, but it taught me how to manage. And I really think going forward into like professional spaces and into my career, I'll always have that and know how to lead and how to be a good listener and understanding, because I also think within a leader, you have to understand the people you're working with and help them with what they need as well.
Yeah, I agree. Great. What career do you hope to have when you graduate?
I'm going into chemical engineering.
So a chemical engineer with people skills, like, will make you very marketable, I can tell you, for sure.
Yes.
Now tell me, I know to join an MGC organization, FSL has at least one requirement.
Yes.
What is it?
So similar to many of our organizations, there's that orientation component. You must attend orientation.
Okay. And not just new student orientation. This is an FSL MGC orientation.
Yes, absolutely. We like to say either P&M orientation or an aspirant orientation. It's for anyone who's interested in joining an organization to just get some training, some workshops, learn a little bit more about maybe who they are, what our community is about, as well as maybe even the organizations and what the expectations may look like when you start to join an organization. And it is mandatory to join. It is mandatory to go to an orientation in the same semester that you're looking to join. So if you're looking to join in the fall, you go ahead and go to that orientation in the fall. Or you can go to orientation in the fall and be like, oh, they're not doing intake or new member education in the fall. So you would then have to go in the spring again, and to make sure that you're eligible to join.
So they need to be proactive.
Yes.
Show up to that orientation.
Yes.
Just in case the chapter you want to join is going to take a class.
Yes. And with that also has our modules with On Prevent Zone with our Hazing 101 and FSL. It's just modules going to get some basics of hazing signs to make sure that you're being proactive, as hazing has no place in our community, as well as know a little bit more about our Fraternity and Sorority Life here at FSU. And then we have our aspirant verification form, as always, that anyone interested in joining an organization must fill out. So those are 3 kind of just small points of what our FSL requirements. You just want to make sure that you're full-time, you complete your requirements, just to make sure that you are eligible to make sure you can move in the next steps.
Yeah, very good. Abigail, what is your favorite memory so far of your Greek life experience at FSU?
I would say this is also like what makes MGC special is how we have our new member presentations. So when you're a new member, you'll be presented in front of like everyone from the council comes, people from other councils come, and you kind of just see everyone support you and welcome you into the community. And that's your like first event really. So I feel like that is such a great memory. I've gone to so many at this point, and I love welcoming those who did their presentations and also seeing my sisters do their presentation, and from my own, that was really something nice, and to know that like the community was there for me. But I would also say we have our MGC showcase every semester, and that's one of my favorites. Like, I still perform in it, and everyone's like, you're still performing? And I'm like, yes, I am. That's an event that I love, and I love to see everyone else's performances. And you kind of get to see how each organization puts in, you know, like their values, their mottos, like their symbols into like one big presentation. And it's cool to see what everyone comes up with.
Now, I did hear before we started filming that you won a pretty big award at the Pursuit of Excellence. What award did you win? And tell us about it.
Well, me and my chapter won a few awards. I won Chapter President of the Year and also the John Thrasher Leadership and Service Award. And my chapter did win Chapter of the Year this year, which was a pretty big deal for us. We were very proud. And we won some other ones like Recruitment and Service and Operational Excellence.
Well, congratulations. That's a really big deal.
Thank you.
So well done. Now it is time for our Ask Amy. So the questions we have 3. What types of community service do MGC organizations engage in? You talked a little bit about that.
So MGC organizations, I think we do a lot of community service. Every year we have MGC Week, and we always make sure to have a service event within that. So we've done trash cleanups around campus in the stadium. We've done service events at the Kearney Center, making care packages, hygiene packages, also for the homeless or people in need. But individually, we also all have our own like philanthropies and things. My sorority is a service-based one. Other ones are academic. We all do service events, really. So we tend to go out in the community, help at places like Second Harvest, the Kearney Center, the Oasis Women's Shelters.
So you mentioned MGC Week. What are other MGC signature programs and events?
So Again, we have MGC week. It's usually around the second week of each semester. Within that, we have two pretty big events. We have our YMGC event, which is usually a panel of some sort. All the organizations are there, so you really get to meet the members, see how their experience has been, and see if you want to join. So that's a great event for people who are looking to get involved. And then we also have our showcase, which usually happens in the Moore Auditorium, and each organization will perform. The week has a theme, so usually the performances are like based on the theme, and you could see them stroll, step, or salute. So it's a really cool event, and everyone's welcome to go. All our friends go, members from the other councils come, so it's a good time.
And then you kind of mentioned this. Folks talk about MGC as like a family. What does that mean?
So to me, I think we are a smaller organization, and we were founded like in 2000, so pretty new, but we all come together and you really get to know everybody. I feel like I come from a mixed household, so I'm half Filipino, half Puerto Rican, and I've gotten to know so many people throughout all the organizations, and they've helped me grow into my cultures. Like, for example, my SANs, which are the people who initiated the same year and semester as you, I feel like you typically get really close to them because you all came in this together. That new member presentation, you meet all your SANs, like you're there all together, and you're like, wow, we're in this all together at the same time. So I've really gotten to grow with mine, and I got to meet some brothers from like Lambda Phi Epsilon, Alpha E, and I make lumpia, which is a Filipino dish with them. So it's like a sense of home away from home, and I consider them like my brothers, So they may be in a different organization, but they're all my brothers and sisters at the end of the day.
And it's a great way to make a 45,000 person campus feel a lot smaller. So very good. Well, thank you both for joining us. That is it for this episode of Connect with VP Hecht, your guide to all things student life at Florida State University. Be sure to like this podcast, and don't forget, you can always chat with us and give us ideas for future episodes.